Hello YouTube. So I am at the gym about to go train some legs, but little side note, I do tend to sit in the parking lot for a little bit and just drink my pre-workout. It's kind of a good place to kind of get like mentally prepared to really push yourself and get in that headspace to have a really good training. So that's kind of my little warm-up, mental warm-up here before going into the gym. But yeah, let's get going. I'll take you through my glute day. We are about to head into the best gym in the valley. I'm not biased or anything because I own it. It is the best gym around. So my last video, you will have seen the gym tour, which it's a pretty awesome gym. We try to keep it clean and a good space for members. So this is a little warm-up I do before leg days. So I start with some side walks and make sure that I'm leading with my heel, really trying to activate those glutes, warm up the hips, get the blood flowing. It's always a good idea to do some type of dynamic warm-up before you get into your lifting, just so that you make sure your joints are ready to go and your whole body's warmed up and you're not going into a lift cold. After I do the side steps, I face forward and do some monster walks, kind of trying to keep the tension on the band even when my feet come together a little bit, so you don't want to let the band come completely slack. I like to do these forward, and then as I'm coming back, do them in reverse. The reverse really gets those glutes and hamstrings firing, so definitely a good one there. Usually after I do the walks, I'll just do some banded squats. I like to go around 15 to 20 reps, really keeping the tension on that band, focusing on getting low, keeping my feet rooted to the floor. This one, again, kind of loosens up those hips. Make sure your ankles are ready to go, your knees. After doing my squats, I like to do a set of just body weight lunges with more of a glute focus. I kind of like to take a step like slightly out to the side. I do include a hip raise here. This just gets those hamstrings a little bit more, just to, again, make sure everything's warmed up. All ranges of motion are good to go. I think that a lot of people will skip the warm-up, but this is actually a super important thing. Just helps prevent injuries, and you'll actually have better lifts as well because your body will be more prepared to do them, especially if you have a desk job, or even if you're someone who does it right in the morning, right when you wake up. This next one that I'm doing is just kind of for that hip mobility work. Usually kind of finish off with that, especially if I'm starting with like a lunge or a squat movement. So we're gonna do some foot elevated lunges. We're gonna do them a little bit differently today. So really focusing on keeping all the weight in the front foot and not letting your back leg do like hardly any of the work. So weight is a little bit lower for this because you really want to focus on pressing through the front leg, squeezing through the glutes, and not letting that back leg help. So also going slower on the descent, and you can go a little bit faster on coming up, but really focusing on that negative. So here we go.
right, so this next one is gonna be a deficit sumo deadlift. So I'm actually gonna kind of make it more of a squat, so really getting my hips down, keeping my chest up. On both you do that, but getting a little bit deeper in this one. Again, today I'm playing with a lot of tempo, so I'm gonna really go slow on that negative and then come up to the top at a slightly faster speed. So here we go. All right, so this next one, we're gonna do a banded hip thrust. So I'm just gonna use one band today. I'm gonna put it right above my knees. That constant tension there will help you activate more of your upper glute. Today's, I'm gonna go with a slightly smaller range of motion. So more of a cross hip thrust, keeping that constant tension and making sure the glutes don't lose contraction. Here we go. So this one is a stiff leg RDL. You want to keep hips super high, keep your knees a little bit straighter, and we're going higher rep here, 15 to 20 on each set. So kind of just depending on how long my glutes last.
So this next exercise is a dumbbell hamstring curl. This is a really good variation to do if your gym doesn't have a line hamstring curl. It just adds tension a little bit differently and allows you to still do a curl. So I have found that the decline bench is one of the better benches to do this on. Just gives you a slightly greater range of motion, and you can hang on to the upper part of the bench pretty well. A little bit better than just one of the flat benches. So these next two exercises are all about the upper glute. So to start, I put the band right above my knees, and I like sitting on a box that's a little bit lower than having my thighs parallel to the floor. So it's a little bit lower of a seat. Leaning forward, I like to actually put my hands on the upper part of my glute so that I can feel that contraction a little bit better. Leaning forward, you're just going to adduct those legs out to the side, putting pressure on that band. This one is a burner. If you think about actually engaging your glutes, I see a lot of people just sit there and kind of move their legs back and forth, but you actually have to do the work and engage your glutes while you're doing this one. So I supersetted this one with a kneeling, slightly standing adduction. So with this one, I have one knee on the bench. I am supporting myself with one of the other boxes, and I'm leading with my heel out to the side. There is a slight degree where I'm kind of going back just a little bit, but mainly leading with the heel out to the side. This one you should feel in that upper outer glute again. And you also want to make sure that you are thinking about actually engaging your glute and not just letting your leg fly out to the side and not putting in that mind muscle connection to the upper glute. Trust me, it will make a difference.
All right, that's a wrap. That is all for the glute workout today. So kind of taking a little bit of a different approach. You know, the biggest area that we need to improve on for next season is building the glutes. And so really focusing on that mind muscle connection, working some tempo so that I'm making sure that I'm not compensating anywhere else and really feeling it just in the glutes, and that the glutes are doing a majority of the work. So training might look a little bit different, but really focusing on those glutes, tempo, mind muscle connection, and making them go to fatigue. So thanks for joining in. We'll see you next time.